Hello and welcome to Spiritual Fertility. It is Allison here again, and I am so grateful that you have come on this journey with me. If you are new to Spiritual Fertility, this podcast, I welcome you and invite you to listen with an open heart and an open mind, to be mindful of the words that you hear. And also, if this is something that impacts you, I invite you to please give me a review, a 5-star review, if you could. That will help this podcast reach more listeners. And I'm so excited for what Spiritual Fertility has enabled me to bring to the world. And that is the stories of my guests to inspire, to bring hope and inspiration, motivation, curiosity for those who are on a spiritual path, seeking to find life and career satisfaction along the way, while birthing new creations, while bringing in their family aspects, by really leaning into the wholeness of who each of us are. And so my intention for this episode is a solo one, to share one of the tools that has helped me in my spiritual evolution and in my journey. And as I sit here and record this episode, it is newly the year of 2025, and with the new year comes lots of reflection and being able to pause and reset and focus on what we want for the year ahead. But oftentimes there's this collective energy that exists around us that maybe we can't even explain. Now, the tool that I'm going to share with you today is numerology. And I've been fascinated with numerology for many years now, and the meanings of numbers and what they can signify to really be able to help me maybe validate what I'm thinking, or be a source of inspiration to what I'm feeling, or just give me kind of that overall validation of my path. And I've used a couple tools in my journey with regards to numerology. Oftentimes I'll be taking notice of numbers that appear in my life on a consistent basis. For a while now, I shared this in one of my episodes, I kept seeing 717. I've come to realize that is a sign from my grandmother, but I can also look up the meaning of that via Google, or I'll share with you an app that I like to use. But I've seen different numbers reoccur on license plates. 34 comes up for me a lot. 53 comes up for me a lot. I've used numerology for my own personal soul's path and life path to be able to kind of give me even some more validation. And so one of the tools, actually, I'm going to share two tools with you today that I've used with numerology, and I'm curious what you've used as well. So be sure to, if you are listening to this, to be able to send me an email. Let me know if this resonates. If you are seeing this on YouTube, to be able to comment and let me know as well, because I am so curious as to how this is sitting with you. I know that it's helped me, so hopefully it is helping you. But one of the apps that I've used is by Alana Fairchild, and it's called the 1111 Oracle. And it's really cool. You can ask the Oracle to bring up a number, and it will give you the meaning of that number. But you can also enter a number. So oftentimes, of course, I will put in my favorite number, 444. I see that a lot. I see repeating numbers a lot. But 444 says that angelic intervention is assured and all will be well. That sits well with me. So try that app. It's a really cool app. The second tool that was my intention for coming on and sharing this with you is a really unique way to allow numerology to help you journey through the cycles of time. And I have been led to a guide, a website in particular, that every year I seem to return to. At the end of the year, at the start of the year, I've made a note to kind of come back to this website throughout the year. But that is Creative Numerology, and this is by Christine Delory. So you can go to that website. I will link it in the show notes for you. But Creative numerology explains where you are in your personal journey and can help you move through the constant uncertainties we face on a daily basis. So you can learn about your life path and family numbers and be guided by your weekly, monthly, and yearly numerology forecasts. And the reason why I come back to this every year is to lean into and to reflect on the year. And Christine in her website does this by sharing insights for the weekly, the monthly, and the yearly, but by allowing you to come up with a number within a 9-year cycle. Now, we just turned into 2025. If you add up 202 plus 5, then you will get to the number of 9. So we are currently in a year of 9. 9 signifies endings. It signifies kind of wrapping up at what's at the end of that 9-year cycle. If I put in 9 to my app, it says I choose to let go. So let go of what you've cultivated over the last 9 years. So what collectively the world has cultivated over the last 9 years. And now this is all open to your own interpretation and how it sits for you. So I invite you to take what resonates and leave what does not. So, but with creative numerology and that 9-year cycle, I first tuned into this website, was led to this website when I was in the 9-year cycle. I'm currently in 3. And how you get to that number is you take your birth month and your birthday added to the year that we're in. So if 2025 adds up to 9, I would take my birth month, which is 8, my birthday, which is 4, and add that to 9. So I would have 8 plus 4 plus 9, which would give me 21. I would add those two numbers together. 2 plus 1 would give me 3. And so that's how you break it down. Christine talks about this on her website, so you'll have that reminder there. So, but in reflecting back, I learned that, in fact, 9, when I was in the year of 9, was an ending for me, for sure. 1 was a beginning, was definitely a start for what I was doing. Actually, in my year of 1 is when I published Spiritual Fertility for the first time in 2023. In 2024, I was on a 2-year. Now, at the beginning of 2025, I looked back, and what I do is when you go to this website and you calculate your number, my advice is to, let's say you calculate your number to be a 3, like me. What I would first invite you to do is when you go to creativenumerology.com and you go to the yearly forecasts, excuse me, you go to the yearly forecast, first look at what last year's number and what last year has written for that number. So if I'm a number 2, or if I'm a number 3 for 2025, I first go back and I look at the 2 for last year for 2024. And let me tell you, I made a mental note to go back and look at the weekly and monthly forecast this year, actually, to kind of move along. I just signed up for the newsletter so that I can keep up with yearly and monthly forecast, because when I read back too, for me, it really resonated with all that happened last year in 2024. And I'm in the year of 3 now, personally. So I'm going to share some insights that I've gained from reading my year 3. Wow. I mean, from the beginning. Now, I have to say, because we are also in 2025, in the beginning of the year, as I record this now, I always pick a word of the year to guide my year. It brings simplicity to the process of setting goals or resolution, and by being able to focus on one word to guide your year. And my one word this year for 2025 is courage. Now, this started coming to me back, goodness, probably September, October timeframe. But It was so funny when I was reading three, and I'm going to read you some of the things that resonated for me with the year of three and see how this sits with you if you are a three like me. But one thing that resonates when Christine shares about this year is before the direction of your happiness can be uncovered, you first have to detect and heal from the sources of your unhappiness. You will find have as much to do with what is taking place in the world as it does with your own personal situations, relationships, and memories. So I've been intentional about, so far at the start of this year, reflecting on what it is that creates unhappiness for me. And so that's started me on this path. But as I was reading the year of three, I was getting all these ahas because courage is my year. And she talks about that you may have to take a few courageous leaps in the dark. Fear will be experienced, and this will help you develop courage and to know that you are far more capable than you ever allowed yourself to believe. With this level of self-acceptance, your leaps will turn into bounds, and this year could turn out to be your most fulfilling ever. Courage is not the absence of fear. If you are not afraid, then courage has nothing to do with it. Courage is the acceptance of fear and the determination to deal with or get through whatever is causing it. Now, whether you're on a 3-year or not, that's an amazing message. So for this year, you will learn the difference between love and guilt. Where guilt exists, love cannot. 3 is the number of innocence. This year's events will show you that guilt really is the biggest obstacle in your quest for fulfillment. The only way to remove it is to stop prejudging what is right and wrong and develop total acceptance for your own natural capacity for decency and compassion. So that resonated as well with me with regards to what to expect and guide myself for the year 3, which I'm in this year. It also, this creative numerology has also given me some acceptance that I don't need to have it all figured out. So for example, when I was speaking with my friend Danielle Adams, my personal energy healer, who's been on the show multiple times, I talk about all the time, but in one of our sessions, we were talking about, because I have a business in me that is meant to be birthed and has been cultivated throughout the years, but my intentions are to get that going, right? And to be, I guess, more in alignment to move into that. I know I'm at the right place where I need to be, but as I was expressing that to Danielle, she was sharing with me what messages came through for her from my healing guide, and really just to be mindful that where I am is okay, and that the cultivation of that business and moving in the direction of my intuitive healing, teaching, guiding business, soul's business, is meant to occur in the next few years, which is great. But I thought back to this creative numerology 9-year cycle in knowing that when I was having that conversation with Danielle, I was in a year 2. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in a year 2. Like, there's a couple years until I get to that like middle 4 or 5 year that I'm okay with and at peace with. And as I learn more about myself and really leaning into what these tools offer me, that my intuition kind of pings me to know and to validate. So in this year of 3, you will have problems, but you are perfectly able to deal with them as they arrive. Your personal happiness is the theme, and it's important to understand that happiness is an emotion that needs to be expressed as and when you feel it. 3 is the number of spontaneity. So that brings me to a core value, which my intention is to live in alignment with my values. Spontaneity to me is adventure, which was one of my core values. So fascinating. So the purpose of and the intention for this is to come off of this episode, go to creativenumerology.com, calculate your year number, calculate your life path number and read about this. I was having a conversation in a recording an episode with Heather Parody, which will be coming up, but we were talking about life path number, and she's a number 8, I'm a number 8, lots of different numbers and meanings, but it all makes sense when you look through and start to find out how numerology can fit into your life. So to be open to what signs and what tools the universe is sharing with you to help you on your spiritual evolution and your path, your soul's path. So you are here for a great purpose, and these tools will enable you to bring the seeds and the thoughts and the experiences of your life to that point, and that meaningful point that is for you to be shining, for the magic and the light that exists within each of you. And so thank you for joining me on this episode. I hope that you love numerology as much as I do, and the tools, the different spiritual tools that are offered. Be sure to share this episode with somebody that you think it will resonate with, and kindly leave me a review. Take care, have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.